Okay guys, welcome to our first ever graphic design corridor class. So basically this video is going to be a very short. I'll try to make the video short, although it's not short, but I'll try to make it short. But then I'm very happy to welcome you guys to this session. Okay, with that being said, this will be our course outline. Basically this has been the course outline I've been using so far since I've been teaching graphics for a few years back. So this has been the course outline, and given the fact that we have just a few weeks to run through all of this, which is I think 2 weeks here, so I'll try as much as possible to cover up all of these things within that short period of time. So within that short period of time, we'll try as much as possible to ensure that we run through everything from 1 to 24. But if we couldn't reach up to the necessary date, which is the last day, but if we can get to number 20 on this course outline here, then the remaining 4 are just good to go, because it's a win-win. Once you can know 1 to 20, then just repeated process, repeated actions, and just a few hints on the other 4. So with that being said, let's just quickly up onto the topic for today. So the number 1 thing we're trying to cover up this weekend should be introduction, the welcome screen, and the interface. And I think from that is number 1 to number 5. So try as much as possible to cover up 1 to 5. So let's just see what we can quickly do. So for today, we're going to be talking about majorly theory, like I said on the group, majorly theory and practical. Do you understand? So the first one will be what is graphic design, everything you need to know about graphic design before even coming on down to software designing, the software for designing, the different type of software that are used for design. So what is graphic design, history of graphic design, the uses of graphic design, benefits of being a graphic designer, softwares for, and then we'll round up everything with softwares for design. So it's going to be a long video, but we'll try as much as possible to make it short enough for easy comprehension. Do you get it? So with that being said, now let's just quickly up onto the first topic, which is what is graphic design. Okay, so before we dive into the 8 types of graphic design let's start with the basics, which is the first thing you need to know as a graphic designer. Because if I should ask anyone now, what do you feel graphic design is all about? What's your take about being a graphic designer? Most people just say flyers. The first thing that comes to the top of your head, most people, is flyers, logos, and the likes like that. So basically, graphic design is actually beyond all of those things. It's far more than that, more than flyers and everything. So from what you can read here, it says graphic design is the creation of visual compositions to solve problems and communicate ideas through all these other ones, which is number 1, typography, imagery, color and font, alignment, image, and the likes like that. So basically the main 2 keywords here is to communicate and solve problems. That's the major work of a graphic designer. So for you to become a graphic designer, you must first of all have the intuition in you that you want to solve problems with visual content. You want to solve problems with designing. Do you understand? So in that same vein, there are other types of graphic designers out there right now. So it's not like the person that specializes on designing newspapers is totally different from the person that specializes on designing logos. Totally different from the person that specializes on designing software or web development interface. Do you understand? So all of these things are different faces, but then being a graphic designer, you have to have your own niche as a graphic designer before you now say, okay, I am all around. Do you understand? So after I think we are very clear with this, the first intuition about graphic design. So next time when you hear graphic designers who are graphic designers, don't just call them, don't just put it in the mind that it's flyer designer, that is flyers, newspapers, and like I know a graphic designer is someone that solves problems, that specializes on solving problems through communication by using either of all of these skill sets, ranging from typography to imagery to color and form and the likes like that. And that is why basically when you see graphic design content, when you see graphical content online or physical or whatever space, you always see that they're trying to sell something to you. So they're trying to communicate to you without saying a word, because they can't get to you by saying these words. Most times they use their graphical content to communicate to you. That's why you see them with their typography, they are communicating something to you, they're selling something to you. So as a graphic designer, within the five seconds you can of someone seeing your content, they can easily understand what you're trying to tell them. So the communication should be there. So if you're not communicating, then you are not a graphic designer. You need to communicate from your own end, getting from your client's perspective to your clients. Yes, let's put it that way, because you are not the one that needs the client. So you need to first of all understand what your client, that is the client, wants to get, the target audience. So you need to communicate to the right target audience. I think that's the right word. So you need to communicate to the right target audience. For example, if I want to design a church flyer, I will design a church flyer that basically once anybody sees it, the person automatically will know that this flyer is talking about church events and the likes like that. So also in the same vein, if I want to design a birthday flyer, the same way. If I want to design logos for different brands, so if I'm designing a logo for a construction company, the logo should immediately speak for itself. So you should communicate the right thing. That is why as a graphic designer, you should always make sure that you communicate the right design on whatever it is you are giving out as a content. Do you understand? I think I'm clear with that. So ensure that you are giving out the right content as a graphic designer. So basically, graphic design, like from what I'm just summary of what I'm trying to say, is that the definition of graphic design is to communicate, is to solve problems by communicating through typography, imagery, color and form, and the list continues. Do you understand? By now you should have already know that to become a graphic designer, you must be able to communicate. You must have that skill set to communicate. So automatically you're a marketer. You're marketing something. You're just like a middleman. So if I'm not communicating, then I'm not buying then no one is buying my content. So as a graphic designer, you must be able to communicate through any of your graphical measures. So now as I'm talking, what do I mean by graphical measures? So there are different fundamental types of graphic design. So if you search through the internet now, you see a lot of blog posts about 7, 8, 5, 2 types, 100 types of graphic design. Do you understand? But then I've decided to just bring down all of these things and arrange them together, and then I felt like these are the 8 fundamental types. Any other types of graphic design that you hear anywhere will just be subsidiary from this one. Do you understand? So they'll just be like something related to this, or just coming out from this, or most of them are just recreation of different types of graphic design under of these 8 types of graphic design. So these 8 types are the fundamental types of graphic design that you need to understand. So whether, like I said earlier, whether you're a business owner, you must understand these 8 types of graphic design so that you can be able to communicate. Even though you are an aspiring graphic designer, you must understand these 8 fundamental types of graphic design so that you can be able to communicate to the right audience, to the right target audience. It is very important you communicate to the right target audience. Do you understand? So the first fundamental type of graphic design is the visual identity graphic design. Now I'll just quickly do a summary of what a visual identity graphic design is. From the word itself, visual identity graphic design simply means anything that you can see. So when you just put it in your head, in your mindset, that okay, like the first word, when someone tell you that who is a graphic designer, your first definition of a graphic designer that comes to your mind is a visual graphic designer, because it does everything that humans can see. Let's just quickly read through it. You can see, like it says, a brand is a relationship between a business or organization and its audience. A brand identity is how the organization communicates its personality. You can see where communication is coming into right now, and this is just one part, which is visual identity. A brand identity is how the organization communicates its personality, tone and essence, as well as memories, emotions and experiences. Visual identity graphic design is exactly that, the visual elements of brand identity that act as the face of a brand to communicate those intangible qualities through images, shapes and color. You can see what I'm trying to talk about. So whatever thing you want to think about a graphic designer, the first one, which is visual identity graphic designers, are the ones that you first of all think of, because basically they do everything. So as a visual graphic designer, you must understand the remaining 7 types of graphic design. Do you understand? So you must also focus on the other, you must know how to design the other 7 types of graphic designers. So for you to become a visual, let me just come again so you'll be clear. For you to become a visual identity graphic designer, you must understand the other 7 types to make it 8 type of graphic designer. So it is very rare for people to see this type of graphic designers, because most designers specialize on one field and then one niche, and then that as well. It's actually a very good thing, that is the best thing. But then for you to become a visual identity graphic designer, you must understand everything, which is the 8 types of graphic design. So let's quickly continue our reading up. So designers that specialize in visual identity graphic design collaborate with brand stakeholders to create assets like logos, typography, color palettes and image libraries that represent a brand's personality. In addition to the standard business cards and corporation stationery, I hope you can see now they've moved from, as a visual identity graphic designer, you must be able to design logos, typography, color palettes and the likes like that, and you should also be able to design standard business cards and corporate stationaries. So designers often develop a set of visual guidelines. You can see all the requirements. If you just read through, all of these are requirements for you to becoming a visual identity graphic designer. That means you must possess all of these other skill sets. To become a logo designer is a skill set on its own. To become a typography designer is a skill set on its own. To become a corporate stationery designer is also a skill set on its own. But for you to become a visual identity graphic designer, you must possess all of these skill sets. Do you understand? So visual identity design is one of the most common types of design. This is the sweetest part about being a visual identity graphic designer now. So to become a visual identity graphic designer, visual identity graphic designers must possess a general knowledge. You can see this is what I've been talking about since. So you must possess a general knowledge of all types of graphic design in order to create design elements that are suitable across all visual media. They also need excellent communication, conceptual and creative skills. Very necessary. These are the most necessary skills you need to possess before you can become a visual identity graphic designer. Do you understand? So you must possess the communication skill, conceptual skill and creative skill, and also have the passion for researching different industries and organization trends and competitors. Because for example, if I want to design a content for let's say a cryptocurrency brand, now I need to first of all know the right target audience. I need to know the trends in cryptocurrency. I need to know the kind of organization, the competitors in cryptocurrency, what they do. Do you understand? So I'll know how to use the right color, the right font, the right images and the right design. Creativity will also come in to communicate to this same right audience. The next one is marketing and advertising graphic design. Let me just do a summary about number 2, which is marketing, advertising and graphic design. From the word itself, you should understand that you as a marketing and advertising graphic designer, what you are purposely made for is to market the business that you are called into. Is to design marketable and advertising content. So you are not designing anything like everything you are designing should be marketable. That is the goal, that is the ideology here. Everything you are designing as a marketing and advertising graphic designer should be marketable. Be it stationaries, it must be marketable. Be it shirts, it must be marketable. Be it flyers, it must be marketable. Do you understand? So the kind of the set of people that fall into this, people are people that designs mostly flyers, business cards, all this kind of stuff that are using for advertising and marketing stuff, billboards like that. Do you understand? So let's just quickly do a read through on it. So when most people think of graphic design, they think of these designs created for marketing and advertising. Companies depend on successful marketing efforts to tap into their target audiences. Decision-making process. Great marketing engages people based on the wants, needs, awareness, and satisfaction they have about a product, service, or brand. About a product, service, or brand. Do you understand? So companies depend on successful marketing efforts to understand this. Since people will always find visual content more engaging, graphic design helps organizations promote and communicate more effectively. So this is just like a summary of what I just. This is just a read up of what I just summarized. Do you understand? So once you're on this field, if you know that you want to become a marketing and advertising graphic designer, just know that your goal here is to design anything that is marketable. So whatever it is you are doing is a marketable output. Whatever it is you are giving out to the world is a marketable output. Do you get? So the same way all of these things. Let's just quickly see the example of a marketing and advertising graphic designer. So the first thing, examples of what they do, you can see postcards and flyers, magazines and newspaper ads. You see all those ads that used to be on newspaper. Basically, marketing and advertising graphic designers are not the ones that design what's it called, magazines and newspaper. I want you to get that. But the ads that you see on newspapers and magazines, it's a marketing graphic designer that does that. Do you understand? I want you to get that. So it's a different graphic designer that designs a magazine and newspaper, but the ads in the magazine and newspaper are done by marketing graphic design. So you just read through, you see the different types, both postcard, magazine, posters, banners, church flyers, mosque flyers, football flyers, whatever flyers, even normal thing, infographics, vehicle apps. You can see all of these things, PowerPoint presentation, menus on your restaurants and the likes like that. So once you even go to restaurant, you saw those menus that you see there. As far as advertising something, as far as every content, and this is not just the only list, there are other lists. Do you understand? But this is just a few lists. So as far as you're marketing something, as far as the content you're giving out is marketing something, then you are a marketing and advertising graphic designer. You are supposed to have two types of skill sets. First, that is your default settings before you can even say you're a graphic designer, which is number one, the problem solving skill, and then number two is the communication skill. Remember when I was explaining and giving the definition of graphic design, I told you earlier that graphic design is, for you to become a graphic designer, you must understand that you must possess how to communicate and be a problem solver through any of all these other skills. Do you understand? Any of all these other skills. So all these other skills are now falling in place from the other types of graphic designers. I want you to understand it. If I'm too fast, let me just come again, because I knew I was too fast. So now, like I said earlier, as a graphic designer, you must first of all have a primary set of skill, which is just two. When I was explaining, if you just can just go back through from the beginning, and you see when I explain these types. The first two types of problems, the first types of skill you need to possess as a graphic designer, when I was doing the definition, is to be able to communicate and then be a problem solver through other skills. And those other skills can be typography, time management, researching the market, and the likes like that. Just like one of those skills are the first type, under when we explain the first type of graphic design, which is the visual identity graphic designers. The primary skill set for you to become a visual identity graphic designer is what? Research skill. Do you understand? So also on this number two, which is the marketing and advertising graphic designer, the primary skill set you need to possess is the time management skill. So you must be able to have time management so as to be able to meet up to deadlines, because as a marketing graphic designer, as a marketing and advertising graphic designer, you keep designing marketing contents. You keep designing marketing contents from videos, graphical videos, graphical motion graphics and the like that. So even advertising products like flyers and the likes like that. Do you get me now? So you must always meet up to deadline. It is very important for you to meet up to deadlines. So those are the most important skill sets you must possess as becoming a marketing graphic designer. So you can also read up through any of these, and then you see some other things that you can go through. So with that being said, let's just quickly move on to number 3. So number 3, which is it's called the user interface graphic designer. So basically, as a user interface graphic designer, it's actually split into 2. It's called the UI UX. I'm very sure you should have heard this type before. They call them UI UX designer. So they classify themselves as not being graphic designers in quote, because most times they deal directly with software developers, so they don't really deal with advertising agency and the like. But deep down, we all know that this type of are also called graphic designers internationally. So we are all classified as what graphic designers. So I want you to understand this. So when you see a UI UX designer, just also know that the person is also what a graphic designer, but this is where the person specializes his or herself in. Do you understand? So just like we had the other ones like visual identity, we also have the advertising and marketing. Now this third one is the user interface graphic designer. So what do they majorly focus on? So as a user interface graphic designer, what they do is that they design prototypes for a front-end developer to follow through, then write their codes for the back, then the back-end developer will now bring it to life. Do you understand? So what they do basically is that they work directly with software developers. So the user interface, let's just read what it's saying there. It's saying a user interface is how a user interacts with a device, application. UI design is the process. Then UI design is the process of designing interface. You can see what I'm saying. So designing the prototype, designing the interface to make them easy to use and provide user-friendly experience. Just like the app you are seeing, YouTube you are seeing right now, or let's say WhatsApp. A user interface graphic designer will first of all design the prototype for the programmer that will now program everything to look like what the user interface graphic designer has already designed. Do you understand? So that's why it will now be made ready for you to do for we that are using it. So for the first thing that first of all come out, the first conceptualization will be from a user interface graphic designer. The user interface graphic designer will first of all design everything, from how you click the button, how you override it. The user interface graphic designer, just the summary of everything I'm saying is that user interface graphic designer designs it as a prototype and gives it to a front-end developer, which designs its own which programs its own parts, and then the backend developer will now finish the other part. Then will now be made ready for every one of us to use. Just like your website development, your website, every website you see right now are first of all designed by UI designers before the UX designers comes in place, and then the front-end developer will program and the back-end developer will come out, will program, go through all of this software development process, and then before it will now be made ready for we to use. So basically that is the work of a user interface graphic designer. So these are some of the things they do. These are some of the examples, like web page design, theme design for WordPress, game interface, app design, just like everything I've explained earlier. So basically that's all they do, that's all they need to do. So one of the most important skill sets for you to have to becoming a user interface designer is that you must have a few understanding of programming languages. The most important ones are the few programming languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so as to directly communicate with the programmers. Do you understand? So let's just take this example now. Like marketing and advertising graphic designer he or she cannot know how to design a UI UX designer, because that person does not possess this skill set, which is little understanding of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are programming languages. Do you understand? So but then in the same way, a UI UX designer can never design a marketing and advertising graphical content. Why? Because the person doesn't possess the skill set necessary to becoming a marketing and advertising graphic designer. Cannot design marketing content. You can only design software prototypes for programmers, because he or she has that skill set. You can see there are other skill sets necessary, but these are the primary skill sets you need to understand. You need to get. Do you understand? So you must have an excellent understanding of UI UX principles, responsive design. So it's just like you're also in the website development or app development or field, but you are not focused on the programming aspect. You are only meant to design what a programmer can then use to bring stuff to life. Do you understand? So the same way, you cannot bring this your skill set. If you bring this if you decide you want to become a UI UX designer, graphic designer, you cannot bring this same skill set and say you want to bring the same idea to marketing and advertising graphic designers. You will just fail. So the best thing is to just stick to your own path, or better say become number one, which is the visual identity graphic designer that possesses all of the 7 types, all of the 8 types rather, all of the 8 types of graphic design skills. Do you understand? So but then if you decide that, okay, I just like what I do, I want to become a UI designer, then so be it for you. If you say that, okay, I want to become a marketing designer, that is it for you. Just stick to your own field, stick to your niche, because each of all these niches they require particular skill sets. Do you understand? So those are the basic things you need to know about that. With that being said, let's just quickly up on to number 4. Okay, now so number 4 we have publication graphic design. So publication graphic design, let's quickly read through what publication graphic designer does. Let's just quickly do a summary of what it means. So to become a publication graphic designer, it's from the word itself. Publication graphic design simply means you are designing things for publication. So this time around, you are not designing stuff for marketing purposes, you are not designing stuff for programmers, but here you are designing stuff for publications like magazines, newspapers, infographics. Those are what books, do you understand, stationaries, those are what publication graphic designer does. That is their specialization, that is their field, that is their niche. Do you understand? So let's just quickly do a read through on these things. So you should not mix any of these things together for each other rather. So let's just quickly read it. So it says publications are long form pieces that communicate with an audience through public distribution. They have traditionally been a print medium from onset. That is their calling, to be a print medium designers. Publication design is a classic type of design. Think, for example, books, newspapers, magazines, catalogs, and the like like that. Like I already did a summary of what they do. However, there's recently been a significant rise in digital publishing. So graphic designers specialize in publications work with editors and publishers to create layouts with carefully selected typography and accompanying artwork, which includes photography, graphics, and illustrations. Publication designers may work as freelancers, creative agencies, members in or in-house as part of publishing company. So basically, the kind of field where you see this kind of graphic designers feels like TV house. Do you understand? Like TV house, radio stations, newspaper house, magazines hub, and the likes like that. So those are where you can see designers like this. So examples of things that publication graphic designer does are books, newspapers. You can see them here, newsletters and the likes like that. So these are what a publication graphic designer does. I hope it's clear. So now, with that being said, now let's also move on to number 5. I'm trying to rush up this tutorial process so the video will not be too long. Okay, so guys, the next one is the packaging graphic designer, which is number 5. The packaging graphic designer. So what does packaging graphic designers do? So basically, from the word itself, packaging, that's what they do. They design anything that should be packaged, anything that should be packaged. Be it, take for example, like your pen is being packaged, your biscuit wraps are packaged, your wheat, your golden moon wraps are being packaged, your bottled water, the sweet you lick, your children lick, or your children or kids licks, that are being wrapped. Anything packaging, just from the word packaging, those are what they do. Like when you buy a new bag or you buy a new suit, when it's being packaged, you can see that there'll be packaging designs around it. Those are meant for packaging graphic designers. That is what they do. They don't do any other thing aside from that. They don't know how to design advertising content. They don't know how to design anything like user interface or publication designs. No, what they do basically is to design stuff that will be packaged anything. If it's to package human being, they will design you and you'll be packaged well. Do you understand? So if it's to design anything packaging, I'm just trying to bring out different from different fields of how you can package different things. So that's why even if you want to package clothes, that is what the packaging graphic designer does. It designs stuff to package that will be packaged. Cream, foodstuffs, beers, children's stuffs. Even if it's to design, I'm saying it again, even if it's to design human being, that is what they do. So let's just quickly do a run through on what is entailed. So most products require some form of packaging to protect and prepare them for storage, distribution, and sale. But packaging design can also communicate directly to consumers, which makes it extremely valuable marketing tool. Every box, bag and bottles, every can, you can see these are some things that you are seeing. Containers or canister is in a case, it's in a chance tell the story of a brand. So it's very important that the packaging designer, you must be able to know your primary assignment, and your primary assignment is to design stuffs that's meant to be packaged. Do you understand? So that is your primary aim as a packaging graphic designer. So all of these are just different stuffs that you should be able to also understand as being a packaging graphic designer. So I just reading through, and then with that being said, let's also move on to the next one. So guys, before we even move on to this next one, I want you to also understand that as a packaging graphic designer, your field is your field. Don't say that because you're a graphic designer that is focused on being packaged out as a packaging graphic designer, now say you want to go and try to become a UI UX designer, you will fail woefully. Unless you're a visual identity graphic designer that possess all of these other skill sets. Remember, you have your own permanent skill set, your own primary and compulsory skill sets. As being a packaging graphic designer, as being a product graphic designer, as being an advertising graphic designer, as being a UI UX designer, you have your own skill set. So the same way, stick to your niche. Do you understand? Just like, for example, let me just take this example, as because the fact that we all studied medicine in school doesn't mean that I'm a nurse. A nurse will not come, or rather a nurse will not come and run operation on a patient. No. I think that's the best analogy for you to understand. The fact that you study medicine in school doesn't mean that you are a nurse, you not come and run operation. You are not a doctor, you are not a surgeon. A surgeon that runs that is his own field, specializing on running all those things. You are a nurse, you are meant to take care of the patient, but not perform surgical operations. It is meant for the surgeon. Do you understand? So that is how it also goes. So stick to your own field in graphic designers. As a graphic designer, stick to your own particular field. So that's just a summary of that. With that being said, now let's quickly move on to the next one. Okay, so guys, the sixth type of graphic designers are called motion graphic designers. So for you to become a motion graphic designer, from the word itself, motion graphic design, it simply means you design graphical content that are on the motion, that moves. Do you understand? That moves, like video content, short video content. So basically these days, as a motion graphic designer, where you can see most motion graphic designers work these days are mostly on the entertainment industries. You see them if you are putting up short video content, like ads, like what they call them, like all those video ads you see online, like commercial videos, all those short stuff you see. Motion graphics, that is usually what they do. They do motion graphic, they do graphical content that moves. Like for example, we have a popular station, I think Channels Television. You see there that advertising, the logo is done by a motion graphic designer. So as a motion graphic designer, you must also understand how to design content that will look like a video content. So it must actually be a video. It's just like a graphic designer and also a video editor. So you must also possess a skill set of designing video content. So simply put, let's just quickly read through. Instead of just using the normal summary that I'm doing, let's read through. Let's see what it is. So it says, simply put, motion graphics are graphic designs, are graphics that are in motion. This can include animation. Do you understand? So animation, when you hear animation, you can see that animation are things that moves. Animation, audios, typography, imagery, video, and other effects that are used in online media space, television and film houses. The most popularity as the medium's popularity has skyrocketed in recent years as technology improved and video content became king. Exactly the point. So as a motion graphic designer, you must possess the skill set of converting typography, imagery, video effects, animation to become movable graphical content. So your content must be movable. Your content must be movable and be shown in a video kind of way. Do you understand? Be it animation, be it typography. You should have seen some kind of text that are dancing, that moves. Do you understand? So all of those things are done by motion graphic designers. Should have seen animation. Should have watched animation movies. Watch animation movies like that. Should have seen how even mere image moves. Do you understand? So all of those things are done by motion graphic designers and the likes like that. So as a motion graphic designer, even just short commercial ads on TV, on media, on the media space at large, you see all of those things are done by motion graphic designers. So now with that being said, let's also move on to some other few aspects of becoming a motion graphic designer. So you can just read through and see some basic things. Just pause the video at a time and then see some basic things that a motion graphic designer does. So these are some examples of what motion graphic designer does. So title sequences, advertisements, animated logos, trailers, presentations, promotional videos, tutorial videos, websites, apps, video games, banner, GIS, and the list continues. So hope you get it now. So as a motion graphic designer, you must be able to design stuff like this that will be able to ensure that your content that I'm giving out must be in a movable form. So ensure, the main aim is that you should ensure that the content you are giving out, the graphical content you are giving out, must be in a movable form, in a video like form. Do you understand? So now with that being said, let's also move on to the next one. Okay, so guys, number 7 is environmental graphic design. So as an environmental graphic designer, your main purpose is to design things that has to do with the environment. So it must talk about the environment. So it's not that you are designing graphical content for publication purposes. No, it's not that you are designing graphical content for advertisement purposes. No, but here in this, as an environmental graphic designer, your primary purpose, your primary aim is to design environmental based designs, things about the environment, things for the environment. And when we're talking about environment, can be indoor, can be outside. Do you understand? So when we're talking about indoor, we call those kind of people, that environmental graphic designer that specializes indoor, we call them indoor designers, or I think interior graphic designers. Yes, that's what they call themselves, interior graphic designers. Do you understand? So even if it's outdoor, they call them exterior graphic designers also. So those are the people that specializes on doing all of those things. So when you're talking about those type of designers, you can see them as, most times some people classify themselves as decorators. They can call themselves as event planner. You can see when you see this kind of environmental graphic designers, the kind of field they majorly work in fields like event planning, decoration, and the likes like that, interior design frame, and the likes like that. So those are the kind of places that you can see this kind of designers work. What they majorly do is that they design things that has to do with the environment that they find themselves with. So let's just quickly read through. So as an environmental graphic designer, you should always be visually and connect people to places to improve their overall experiences by making space and more memorable, interesting, informative, or easier to navigate. Let me read that too. So environmental graphic design visually connects people to places to improve their overall experience by making spaces more memorable, interesting, informative, or easier to navigate. Environmental design is a broad type of design, and here are some examples. So basically, guys, as an environmental graphic designer, these are a few skill sets you should possess, which is you must be able to create space and make it memorable, make the experience, the environment where they are, make them feel the experience of where they are at that moment, at that time, the space where they are, make it so interesting, informative. Do you understand? So these are some examples of what environmental graphic designers does. So signage, wall murals, museum exhibitions, office branding, publication, transportation, navigation, retail store interiors, stadium branding, event and conference spaces. So the list also continues. So as an environmental graphic designer, all you major on is on the experience. You are just focused on the experience at that particular time. Make everybody feel that, yeah, this is where I am. If I'm in a business setting, then I'm supposed to design this place to look like a business setting. If I'm in a concert setting, then I'm supposed to design this place to look like a concert setting, musical concert setting. If I'm in a football hall, then I'm supposed to make sure this stadium looks like a football stadium. I'm supposed to make sure even if it's a small conference room, I must make sure that this place looks like a small conference room. If it's an office branding space, I must make sure that it looks like an office branding space. If it's a museum exhibition center, I must make sure that it looks like a museum exhibition center. So you should always know the primary assignment is for you to design. You should know that the primary assignment you are sent to do is to design things based on the environment. So ensure that you allow your users, your clients, experience the feeling of where they are at that particular set time. Do you understand? So with that being said, now let's just move on to the last but not the least, which is the art and illustration graphic designers. Okay, so the last but not the least, the eighth one among the 8 types of graphic designers is the art and illustration graphic designer. So basically, what does an art and illustration graphic designer does is that graphic art and illustration are often seen as being the same as graphic design. However, they are each very different. So these people decide to also categorize themselves out of the box, which is not true. Basically, they are still called graphic designers. We are all graphic designers all together. So what they do actually is that they create compositions to communicate and solve problems. You can say, as far as you are communicating and solving problems, which is the primary goal of every designer, is to communicate and solve problems. What this graphic artist does is that they illustrate and create original artworks like they can use for artwork that can be used for decoration, can be used for storytelling and the likes like that, cartoon images, nature images, any kind of thing that you want to think of. From the word art just like drawing things, trying to like get content, just to create. Mostly they do original of their stuffs. Do you understand? So by painting, doing a lot of stuff, that's what they do. Art and illustration graphic designers does all of those things. Majorly they use most of these of their works for decoration purposes and storytelling, illustrations and the likes like that. So basically that's all we have for the 8 types of graphic designers. I hope you find this very helpful. And with that being said, let's just do a run through of what we've learned today from the beginning, which is from the first type of graphic design, or what graphic design actually means. I just really do a run through of all of them. So like here we said, the main important reason why you should be a graphic designer is for you to be able to communicate and solve problems. That is the main important thing. So as a graphic design is the creation of visual compositions to solve problems and communicate ideas through any of these skills. And any of these skills now falls in where we now have the 8 types of graphic designers. Do you understand? So each 8 type of graphic designers has their own specific skills, but their most important calling is that they must have the solving and communication skill. They must have the solving and communication skill. Then every other things falls in place. So the first one, we have among the 8 type of fundamental types of graphic designers, we have the first one, which is the visual identity graphic designer. Its primary aim and skill that it must possess is the ability to search through and make researches is to make researches, and as a visual identity graphic designer, you must possess every other types of graphic design skills. Do you understand? So then the next one is the marketing and advertising graphic design. What does a marketing and advertising graphic designer does is that they create content for marketing and advertising purposes, and their important set of skill is to create content for marketing purposes. So also the user interface, they work with the software developers to create content for the web pages, mobile apps, and the likes like that. And then we also have the fourth one, which is publication graphic designer. What publication graphic designer does is that they create publicational content, and they work in places like media houses and the like that. Publication content like books, magazines, newspapers, and the likes like that. So we also have the fifth one, which is the packaging graphic designers. What packaging graphic designer does is that they create content for packaging purposes. So every container, toolbox that you see, bag, and everything that you see, brand, everything are from a packaging graphic designers. And then the sixth one is motion graphic designers. What motion graphic designer does is that they design things that are on motion, that moves, animations, like examples like animation, video, typography, moving objects, are all motion graphic designers works. The seventh one is the environmental graphic designers. They deal with creating experience, designing things that will be based on a particular field at a particular set of time, the experience, and to enjoy the experience on that particular time. And then we have the last but not least, the art and illustration graphic designer that does art and illustrational works for decoration and painting, and the list continues. So what they do basically is that they design stuff through painting, and the list continues. So basically, guys, those are what you need to understand about who is a graphic designer. So from now you should understand, when someone is saying a graphic designer, you should be able to educate the person that this is what a graphic designer does, this is the definition of a graphic designer, and these are the 8 fundamental types of graphic designers you have. So once you can be able to have a total understanding of what graphic design actually means in from now on. Do you understand? So basically, guys, that's all for that, and I would like to encourage everyone that's watching this video right now to kindly click on the subscribe button, like this video, make a comment on the comment section, and let me know some other things I need to know. Basically, let's just say, for example, if you feel that you are not buying my idea, it's free to go. You can also comment on the comment section. Teach me. Yes, teach me. That is my own idea. This is what I get to understand. If you feel that I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. If you feel that I did really well and you like my content, kindly also let me know in the comment section, because those things also encourages me and makes me know the kind of videos I will be creating oftentimes. So thank you, guys, and see you in our next video.